Hey guys, I'm Noah. You know what? To hell with the intro. Let's just get to work. Today we are going to learn about three super important tags: Div Tag, Image Tag, and Anchor Tag. So let's dive right in. Let's start with the Div Tag. Think of a Div Tag as a container box. It's like an invisible box that you can use to group other elements together on your web page. By itself, it doesn't show anything fancy. It's just a block level element, but it's one of the most important tags in HTML. Why? Because websites are all about structure and layout. For example, imagine you are building a web page like YouTube. You have different sections like the navigation bar, the sidebar, the main content area with all the videos. All these are basically different divs grouping elements inside them. You can also think of a div like a plastic container in your kitchen. If you just throw rice, flour, and sugar on the kitchen shelf, it's messy, right? But if you put them in a separate containers, everything is organized and looks clean. Similarly, on websites, if you put headings, images, and paragraphs directly without organizing them into divs, your layout will be chaotic and unmanageable. Let's quickly create a simple div in VS Code and see how it works. Now before we write the code, let me tell you something. We are going to use a little bit of CSS here to style our div, like adding a border or some padding so you can actually see it is a container. CSS is basically a language we use to style our website, like adding colors, borders, spacing, and making things look beautiful.
Konnichiwa.
But don't worry if you don't fully understand the CSS part right now. We are going to cover CSS in great detail after we finish HTML. So it'll be super easy for you. For now, just follow along. In fact, it's good that you're seeing some CSS here. You will get a rough idea of how it works. And when we learn it properly later, it will feel familiar. Now if I style this div with a border, you will clearly see how it acts as a container. See that? It's like drawing a box around these elements, grouping them neatly. In upcoming videos, we'll use divs everywhere to build layouts, cards, sections, and entire websites. So remember, div is your best friend for structuring HTML. Alright, now let's move to the next important tag, the image tag. Image tag is used to display images on your website. Think about any website you visit, like YouTube thumbnails, product images on Amazon, profile picture on Facebook. All of these are shown using the image tag. The syntax is simple. I have downloaded this random image and saved it in my HTML course folder. Remember, if the image file doesn't exist in your directory, the browser won't be able to display it. So always make sure the image is actually there in your project folder before using it. Let me break this down for you. But here is a good practice I want you to follow. Instead of keeping all your images directly in your main folder, you can create a separate folder called images to keep things organized. This way, your project files don't get messy. For example, your main folder has your HTML files. Inside that, you can create a folder named images. Then, you save all your image files inside that folder. Now to use an image from that folder, your src attribute will include the folder name too. Like this. So here images / tells the browser to look inside the images folder for your image. Keeping your images organized like this is a professional habit and make managing large projects much easier. src attribute. This is short for source. It tells the browser where your image is located. It can be a file in your project folder like this. Alt attribute. This stands for alternate text. Well, why do we need it? If the image fails to load for any reason, the alt text will be displayed so user know what was supposed to be there. It's also super important for SEO because search engines read this text to understand your images. It helps screen readers for visually impaired users to know what the image is about, making your website more accessible. For example, if your image is thumbnail for your HTML tutorial video, your alt can be HTML tutorial thumbnail. So always add alt text. It's a good habit and a professional practice. Anchor tag. Finally, let's talk about the anchor tag, also known as the A tag. This tag is what makes the internet, well, the whole internet. Without links, websites would just be isolated pages with no way to connect to each other. The syntax is simple. Let me break this down. A stands for anchor. href is short for hyperlink reference, which is just a fancy way of saying where do you want this link to go. For example, if you want to create a link to YouTube, you write a href and then the URL. When someone clicks on visit YouTube, it takes them to the website. Pretty cool, right? But here's something even cooler. You can link to other websites or to pages within your own website. For example, if you have another HTML page called about.html in your project, you can link to it like this. And then click on this and boom, now your website has navigation. Anchor tags aren't just for text. You can also wrap images inside anchor tags to make them clickable, like YouTube thumbnails. Now when someone clicks the image, it will take them to the link you provided. So yeah, anchor tags are literally what hold the web together, like invisible bridges between pages. Okay, so that's it for today's video.